And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. We're so close. So hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share. Let's get there because the stupidity, it's not stopping. Now, amid the government shutdown, the White House, the White House is trying to spin it as purely partisan. Even as federal workers on both sides of the aisle are going unpaid. They recently even produced a video. Imagine this. They produced a video for airports showing DHS Secretary Kristi Noem blaming Democrats for longer TSA lines. Luckily, airports are actually refusing to air it. Let me show you that video. Play the clip.
Hi, I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. It is TSA's top priority to make sure that you have the most pleasant and efficient airport experience as possible while we keep you safe. However, Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government, and because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are working without pay. We will continue to do all that we can to avoid delays that will impact your travel. And our hope is that Democrats will soon recognize the importance of opening the government.
Can you imagine? I mean, seriously, you're in the airport, you're pissed off. So what are they looking to do? Looking to make you pissed off at? The Democrats, despite the fact that Republicans control the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. Now, on my Mea Culpa podcast, Adam Parkhomenko, he joined me to explain why these blatant Hatch Act violations are being ignored. Why? Play the clip. So let me ask you then, Chris, again, moving to just a different, because there's so much going on here. How blatant is the violation of the Hatch Act when government agencies are now posting partisan messages on official websites? I want all of my listeners and viewers to understand. If you went on, for example, HUD's website, there is a gigantic red banner that turns around and they all use the same language, the radical left lunatics. That's how they started, which of course is Trump's slogan. They are using government websites, official government websites, within which to target their political opponents.
And two other things we know, Michael, if it couldn't get worse than that, is one, we know that they're also using email. They sent out emails to members of the VA and others. They received an email with that same language. But secondly, we heard something that was really scary on top of this, and I believe it was Natasha Korecki who reported it. But the Department of Education went in and changed the out-of-office replies from the employees that are out of the office because of the shutdown to add language about Democrats in their out-of-office replies.
I mean, this is ridiculous, which brings me to my question. If we normalize this, if we just accept this as being, it's just Trump being Trump, okay, it's a violation of the Hatch Act, but who's going to prosecute it? Do we not risk fundamentally eroding the integrity of our civil service?
For sure, forever. I mean, it's very sad, to have family members who spent 30 years in federal government in different roles see everything that they worked for, some of them undone in one day. We have had incredible civil servants leave who will never come back. We lost people who literally we needed when it came to like nuclear issues, for example, that they had to go and find after firing them and beg them to come back. Same thing with Health and Human Services. But I look, this hypothesis that is in this experiment that is still relatively new, that is the United States, is not only failing, but I don't know how it recovers from this.
Does it ever recovers, really?
I don't know.
Really
I don't know. I don't know if it can.
I don't either.
It's also, by the way, just to the start, like I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist here or say something that's never going to come true. But look, I think it's also going to be the biggest test on the two-party system. This is the oldest two-party system in the world, right? In places like Ukraine and others, you have new parties that form each election and so on. This is really, really not just testing the people who come out to vote, who don't want to be described as any single party anymore, but also it's a test on the system, and we're going to see what's going to happen, because at some point there will be a breaking point throughout the country where people just can't take this anymore.
Okay, so let's talk about a breaking point here. Let's just jump that over to the Epstein files. Democrats right now have the vote as a result of the last
if we swear in Congresswoman-elect Grijalva,
right. So we have the vote to force the release immediately of the Epstein file. Nevertheless, MAGA Mike Johnson does what he does best. He dismisses the entire House. That's it. That's it. Everybody go home, refusing to swear her in, refusing to allow that 218
openly protecting pedophiles.
Amen to that. How politically charging is this? And why are they doing nothing? And I'm talking about Republicans as well, who have signed on, like a Marjorie Taylor Greene, like a Josh Hawley, who have said, we are demanding the release. And Nancy Mace. How about the fact that they should immediately call, because now they have the votes, they have 218, to remove MAGA Mike Johnson as Speaker and put somebody else in?
Well, you've got a great point. So the number of votes that we have from the Republican side is also a big problem for Mike Johnson. It puts him in, you would think, one would say somewhere in between a rock and a hard place, but this should be like a layup, right? This is not a difficult decision at all. I think that this is a huge fucking problem for Donald Trump. I'm on so many different ways, right? Because when she's sworn in, not only can they remove Mike Johnson if he's not going to bring this, but let me go back for a second. There's a civil war right now within the Republican Party, and you're watching it every day, whether it's Nick Fuentes or Candace Owens or others. And if we were actually going to play like Republicans, this is what we would do. We would come out with the video of Charlie Kirk calling for the Epstein files to be released, all of them, and we would present a bill on the floor that is the Charlie Kirk, whatever the hell you want act, that is to release the Epstein files and we got the votes, bring it to a vote and make all of those Republicans vote against Charlie Kirk and cover for Jeffrey Epstein.
Amen to that one. By the way, why don't you, again, since you know Ken Martin, why don't you tell him that this is something, let's write it up together and let's send it to every single member of Congress. Send it to every single,
I love it.
Everyone, Republican and Democrat alike.
Do it for Charlie.
Do it for Charlie. By the way, I was, like everybody else, nauseated, disgusted by a political assassination. I never liked Charlie Kirk. I don't believe what he says. I think his ideology is completely skewed, opposite of mine. But still, I respect the fact he has a First Amendment right. He built something that I myself would love to be able to build on the other side. He had a real movement, as much as I don't agree with the ideology, but to kill somebody because of that political ideology, it opens up a Pandora's box that nobody in this government, nobody in this country should want to see happen. And I was, very quick to turn around to say, this is tragic, and this is not America, nor should it be what we're all about. But can we just stay on this?
I just want to say, I agree with everything you just said. And also, it's one of those moments where there's not many in life, but you remember exactly where you were. And oddly, I found out about it 4 minutes before I was going on with Michael Popak. Wow. So that's what we were talking about the whole time, right? But it's like 9/11. There's just certain events, and it was chilling, and that should never happen to anybody. And the conversation right now we're having is, again,
look, you know better than most
hate
people.
And lies, but we're having an open conversation.
Look,
that's
you know better than
what
most
he wanted.
Because I wanted your help in terms of running for Jerry Nadler's seat as a strategist. I wanted your help. My children, right after I was in my den watching television when I saw this thing unfold. And I remember my children that night turning around saying to me, you know, that thought that you had of running for Nadler's seat, putting yourself into the crosshairs, of potential crosshairs? No fucking way, Pop.
And I think a lot of people felt that way. Exactly. We had Rudy Giuliani, tweeting about my wife going crazy with endless death threats and other things like that. It was absolutely disgusting. And it is, it's going to change. Look, it's going to affect a lot of things that are happening. For instance, Republicans never hold town halls. But guess who has? Democrats have been going into Republican districts to hold those town halls. How can you do that anymore?
You can't. Not unless you're crazy.
How can you be sure that you're safe going into these Republican districts where, most of these are controlled by Republicans, the sheriff's office and everything else? I mean, you've got to have law enforcement that truly protects things and works together. And it is made things very difficult for people to go and just have real conversations with Americans anymore.
Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.